Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to a news cycle on Global Television coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Oyi Agumofwegbe. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and free to air on Nigecomsat. President Bola Tinubu has presided over the 20th meeting of the Federal Executive Council at the State House in Abuja. Today's meeting began at 1:13 p.m. when President Tinubu arrived at the venue, having spent the past hour meeting a delegation from the South-South. Although earlier gatherings oscillated between Mondays and Wednesdays, this is the Council's first meeting on a Thursday since the passing of the former Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Taoreed Lagbaja. Last week's meeting initially had been scheduled for November 6, but was postponed over the passing of the late Army Chief. Shortly after the proceedings began, it was observed that representatives of the Ministry of Budget and Economic Planning are filling in for a presentation to the Council, which may not be unconnected to preparations for Tinubu's 2025 budget presentation. Justice Marian Aneni of the Federal High Court in Maitama, Abuja, has adjourned the arraignment of former Kogi State Governor Yahaya Bello to November 27, 2024, regarding fresh 16-count charges brought against him by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. Former Governor Bello, alongside two others, Shoaibu Oricha and Abdulsalami Hudu, face charges relating to criminal breach of trust and conspiracy to commit an offense totaling 110.4 billion naira. At the resumed hearing, EFCC counsel Jamiu Agoro requested an adjournment to ensure Bello's presence in court for arraignment, as the court's order issued on October 3 had not yet expired. According to the prosecution, the 30-day window provided by the court for summons was still active. President Bola Tinubu has called on Ondo State residents to come out en masse to vote for the All Progressives Congress APC on the 16th of November 2024. President Tinubu, who was represented by Vice President Kashif Shettima, stated these at the campaign for Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa of Ondo State. Vice President Kashif Shettima arrived in Akure for the grand finale of APC campaign for its governorship candidate ahead of Saturday's election in Ondo State. Shettima, who arrived at Akure Airport at noon, was accompanied by several governors and members of the National Assembly. He is billed to visit the palace of Deji of Akure, Oba Ogunlade Alade Tonyibo, before going to the campaign venue. The Vice President called for vote for the party for the good work to continue.
Cast your vote. Your vote is your voice. On Saturday, I will urge you to come out en masse. The President has good tidings for the people of Ondo State, the people of the Southwest, and the people of Nigeria.
Speaking at the event, the All Progressives Congress governorship aspirant and the governor of Ondo State, Lucky Aiyedatiwa, reiterated his commitment to do more if elected into office.
I assumed office in the last 10 months. Myself and my deputy, Dr. Owolabi Adelami Menai, who is also from Owo. You know what we have been able to do within the short period that we assumed office. We are not to make promises, but you know what we have done and you know what we can do. I want to tell you that by the time we return by 24th of February 2025, we will do more than what we have been able to do in the last 10 months.
The national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Abdullahi Ganduje, says the motive is to encourage supporters to come out on Saturday, 16 November, to exercise their franchise for the party.
We are here in order to see you. We are here in order to motivate you. And luckily enough, we found that you are already motivated. We are here in order to present our flag to the flag bearer of our party for the governorship candidate for the governorship election of Ondo governorship election.
Ganduje later presented the party's flag to the governor, Lucky Aiyedatiwa, and his running mate, Olaide Adelami Uyi Agumofwegbe, reporting for Global Television News. The Defense Headquarters says troops' offensives have depleted the capability of the Islamic State for West African province, ISWAP terrorists in northeast Nigeria. It says the blow has forced the terror group on a recruitment drive for new fighters across the region. Further adding that terrorists in the northwest also suffered the same fate and were on membership recruitment on social media, giving updates on successes across various theaters of operation in the past week. The defense spokesman says troops killed 88 terrorists, arrested 288 criminals, and rescued 181 kidnapped victims. Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Edward Buba, says troops recovered 84 high-caliber weapons comprising 34 AK-47 rifles, 15 fabricated rifles, 11 Dane guns, 5 fabricated revolver pistol, 8 locally made pistols, 3 pump-action guns, and 1 Magnum pump-action. Zamfara State chapter of the All Progressives Congress has praised President Bola Tinubu for ignoring calls for the dismissal of his Minister of State for Defense, Bello Matawalle, stating that the allegation he sponsored some of the bandits terrorizing the state was unfounded. The party also urged the current governor, Dauda Lawal, to consider deploying both the kinetic and non-kinetic approaches used by his predecessor to combat the worsening insecurity in the state. The appeal came 2 days after hundreds of women and youths from the state staged a protest at the Department of State Services headquarters in Abuja over the heightened insecurity in Zamfara State. The protesters also blamed the immediate past governor of the state for the activities of the bandits, which they claimed were as a result of his alleged collaboration with them during his administration. Right, let's return to the state now, where the governor, Lucky Aiyedatiwa, who is also the candidate of the All Progressives Congress in the state governorship election scheduled for November 16th, has reaffirmed his administration's commitment to the development of riverine communities, especially the oil-producing areas of Ondo State. The governor stated this when he officially commissioned the rehabilitated 32.7-kilometer Alakwe Junction Araromi Seaside Road in Ilaje local government area, a project of the Ondo State Oil Producing Areas Development Commission. Kikelamo Okere was there for Global TV.
The people of Ilaje community were already chanting victory songs ahead of the election as the excited crowd of residents expressed readiness to elect the first governor from their area. From Mahi to Ugbonla and Igbokoda, the headquarters of the local government, it was a carnival-like atmosphere as Governor Aiyedatiwa moved round major communities to address the people. The governor also received overwhelming support from the community leaders and the traditional rulers as he engaged them in stakeholders meeting. At the event, the Amakbitu of Mahiland, Oba Olusegun Akinyomi, speaking on behalf of all the traditional rulers in Ilaje, declares the monarch collective support for Governor Aiyedatiwa's election bid. The monarch emphasized unity among the Royal Council, expressing confidence in Governor Aiyedatiwa's leadership and noting his consistent effort to bring development to Ilaje communities. Chief Olushola, a former governorship aspirant and chieftain of All Progressive Congress, also offered his strong support. He highlighted Governor Aiyedatiwa's impact on the local economy and the state stability. The Iyaloja General of Nigeria and daughter of the President, Folashade Tinubu, also lent her endorsement at the campaign gathering, urging the people to come out en masse on Saturday to vote for APC. Tinubu praised Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa's policies that have benefited the market community, especially in fostering an environment conducive for traders and small businesses owners. Chief Ayiri Emami, an APC chieftain and community leader in Delta State, further bolstered the governor's support base, citing Governor Aiyedatiwa's responsiveness to the need of the riverine community. In his response, Governor Aiyedatiwa expressed profound gratitude to the leaders and the supporters who gathered to endorse his election. He acknowledged the support of the traditional rulers and community leaders, pledging to continue his efforts in transforming Ilaje and Ondo State. He reaffirmed his commitment to completing ongoing projects and initiating new ones to further uplift the area, vowing to work tirelessly for the progress and prosperity of the people in his local government and throughout the state. The governor further assures the people of Ayetoro that his administration is committed to reclaiming the community from the destructive impact of the sea incursion. Kikelomo Okeri, Global Television News.
Thank you, Kikelomo. Members of the Lakurawa armed group have retreated as the military ramps up coordinated ground and air attacks on the group's camps across Kebbi and Sokoto states, following an attack by the Lakurawa group on the Mera community in Ogie local government area of Kebbi state, which claims 17 lives. The army headquarters deployed a contingent of soldiers to the area. Upon arrival in Breni Kebbi, the troops, according to Abdullahi Idris Zuru, media aide to Kebbi State's governor, met with Deputy Governor Abubakar Umar Tafida at the cabinet office before proceeding to Mera. Zuru says the troops succeeded in dislodging the bandits and recovering several rustled cattle left behind as the attackers fled. In the meantime, Zamfara state government has lamented what it described as the alarming number of ghost workers in the state civil service. The government says the situation has become worrisome and perplexing. Addressing newsmen in Gusau, the state's capital, a state head of service, Barrister Ahmad Liman, says that nobody can exactly say the number of civil servants in the state. He further stated that the ghost workers are mainly in the health and education sectors. According to him, a verification exercise is still ongoing. The government official explained that the verification exercise will be concluded at the end of November 2024, after which a committee on salary will be constituted. Pensioners in Ekiti State have expressed their joy over the new lease of life senior citizens in the state are enjoying under Governor Abiodun Oyembaji's administration. Chairman of the Nigerian Union of Pensioners, Ekiti State Branch, Joel Akinola, stated that the release of 4.6 billion naira by Oyembaji for the payment of outstanding gratuities to state and local government pensioners within 1 month is unprecedented. Akinola, speaking during a monthly prayer summit of the pensioners, also appreciated the governor for presenting a bus to the union in the same month. The statement was made available to journalists in Ado-Ekiti. The union chairman also praised the state government's free healthcare initiative for all Ekiti pensioners and the financial support for the union's guest house construction, among other welfare programs and initiatives. You're watching the live broadcast of News Cycle on Global Television, coming to you from the nation's capital, Abuja. When News Cycle returns, Africa's Centers for Disease Control endorses first locally made Mpox tests. Details of these and more after this short break. Please do stay with us. Thank you for staying with us on News Cycle. The World Health Organization Regional Director for Africa, Dr. Matshidiso Moeti, has stated that the number of people living with diabetes in the African region is projected to rise to 54 million by 2045, marking the highest predicted increase globally if urgent action is not taken. Moeti shared this in a message commemorating the 2024 World Diabetes Day themed Breaking Barriers, Bridging Gaps. Moeti also noted that the rising prevalence of diabetes in Africa is driven by factors such as urbanization, unhealthy diets, and lack of physical activity. Diabetes is a chronic, lifelong condition that results in uncontrolled blood sugar levels, either because the body cannot produce insulin or cannot effectively use the insulin it does produce. The federal government says it will collaborate with the private sector in raising a portion of the $10 billion needed to ensure the provision of consistent and reliable electricity across the country. The initiative is a part of the government's broader strategy to address the country's chronic power supply challenges and is expected to span a period of 5 to 10 years. This formed the crux of the deliberation when the Director General of the Infrastructure Concession Regulatory Commission, Dr. Jobson Ewalefo, paid a courtesy visit to Minister of Power Adebayo Adelabu in Abuja. A statement by the acting head of media and publicity at the commission, Ifeanyi Owonko, says the duo agreed that in view of the funding and technical requirements needed to advance the power sector in Nigeria, it became imperative to seek private sector input through public-private partnership in co-financing and providing expertise that will ensure optimal performance of power infrastructure. The Nigeria Customs Service says it has generated 5.7 trillion naira in revenue as of November 12, 2024. Comptroller General of Customs Adewale Adeniyi disclosed this at the ongoing 2024 Comptroller General of Customs Conference in Abuja. Queen Agaba has more. We'll bring you details of that report in our subsequent bulletin. Let's turn to other stories for you. The African Union's health watchdog has announced that it has endorsed an Mpox test from Morocco, describing it as a major milestone in efforts to combat the outbreak on the continent. The announcement comes 3 months after the African Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, Africa CDC, declared the Mpox outbreak a public health emergency. In a statement posted on X, the center says it has recommended what it described as the first locally produced real-time PCR test for Mpox developed in Morocco. It explains that the test quickly detects pathogen DNA in blood, saliva, or tissue, and that CDC approval highlighted its reliability and efficacy. Last month, the World Health Organization had approved the first diagnostic test for Mpox, calling the Alinity MBPS assay. Let's go forward with the news now. Britain's head of state, King Charles III, has turned 76 and still in the grip of cancer treatment, but with his passion for work undimmed by what his son and heir, Prince William, called a brutal year. Charles paused the royal duties in February after he had been diagnosed with an undisclosed cancer. 2.5 months later, at the end of April, he was back at work. Last month, the couple even resumed their foreign travels, with the king pausing his treatment while visiting Australia, then Samoa, for a Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting. According to those close to the king, Charles returned invigorated from the 11-day trip, while one palace official said the king intended to return to a normal schedule of overseas trips next year. His desire, he says, is to fulfill his public duties, may be influenced by the fact that when he succeeded his mother, Queen Elizabeth II, he was the longest-serving heir apparent in British history at 70 years. Floods and torrential rain have returned to the Valencia region on Wednesday night, but this time they were ready for it, and the areas hit 2 weeks ago escaped further disaster. More than 220 people had died in this Easter coastal area at the end of October, and the town of Perporta was hit hardest with the loss of 60 lives. In the midst of despair, the local population are understandably searching for beacons of hope. For example, the remarkable story of what happened at the Whitby English Language School. As the whole road became engulfed in water, the college's school director, Daniel Bogué, repeatedly pounded against a door with a chair leg that he had just picked up. And now time for some excitement from the world of sports. For the third time in 6 months, Nigeria and Benin Republic will battle in Abidjan, Ivory Coast, as they seek to seal their automatic spots for the 2025 AFCON. After beating the Cheetahs 3-0 during the first leg at the Gospel Akpabio International Stadium in Uyo in September, the Super Eagles are visiting the Stade Felix Houphouët-Boigny, Ivory Coast, the Benin Republic's adopted home ground, for the 18th time this year, needing a win to cement their automatic spot in Morocco 2025. Ultimately, a draw is the bare minimum needed for Nigeria to advance, and the Super Eagles will be playing to avoid a repeat of their 2-1 defeat to the Cheetahs at the same ground in June during the ill-fated 2026 World Cup qualifiers. The Eagles are currently top of the qualifying Group D with 10 points, but their opponents and second place Benin Republic, who are 4 points behind them, need a win to remain in contention for the second automatic spot. Meanwhile, Super Eagles captain William Troost-Ekong has revealed that a phone call from late coach Stephen Keshi and the prospect of international football at age 21 influenced his decision to represent Nigeria instead of his country of birth, the Netherlands. The Al Khulud defender, speaking on the Sports How to Play podcast, explained that the opportunity to play for Nigeria at a crucial time in his career. Quite a remarkable thing to say about your professional journey. And that's it on News Cycle, and it came to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV, channel 365, Star Times 276, and free to air on Nightcomsat. We encourage you to follow us across all of our social media platforms using our Global TV NG as well as other handles now showing on your screen. I'm Agumofo Egbe. I'll see you again.